There are three types of transformations that we're going to be looking at in Unit 4. The first one is what we call a translation. Now, another word for translation is a slide, where we take a figure. In this particular case, we have triangle QRS, and we're just sliding it to a new position on the graph. You'll notice that QR and S, in comparison to the second triangle, which we call Q prime, R prime, S prime, and the prime are these little apostrophes. Okay, we call those prime. Okay, the original image that we start with is what we call the pre-image. Okay, so in this case, because we're going from QRS is considered the pre-image, and then we're going to do a translation that gives us Q prime, R prime, S prime, and that is considered our image. Okay, so the figure you are finished with, the image that you get, or the figure you get after the transformation, in this case a translation, is called an image. Okay, and in this case it's asking us for the translation vector. Now a vector is just a set of units and a direction in which each point has been moved. Okay, and if you notice, we will notice that the translation vector for all 3 points are exactly the same. Okay, so I'll start with Q. So if you'll notice, to get from Q to Q prime, we're moving down and then to the left. Okay, so here this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6 units down, and 1, 2, 3 units to the left. So 6 units down and 3 to the left. Okay, and we will write this because both 6 down would be -6, and the left is also negative, so this would be -3. That is my translation vector, and that's how we write it with those types of brackets. Now I can count the same exact provided I plotted my points correctly. I apologize, in which case I did not, but this is a good example to show you how. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 6, which is correct, but you'll notice S is only 2 units where Q is 3. So that tells me that I did not graph this properly. Because notice R is 2 units, so my Q should be over to the right one more. So I apologize for the mistake. So this should be -5, -3. And that would be my translation vector. So to find a translation vector, we're simply going to count from our pre-image letter, which is given to us here. And this tells us where our starting point is, where our finishing point is, and which figure is our pre-image in comparison to our image. Just connect the 2 points, like R to R prime, S to S prime. Draw lines that represent, in this case, you could say rise over run, Is another way we've seen this before. In this case, we don't have the hypotenuse of the triangle, but essentially we do have the two legs to determine both the height, number of units in the height and in the width. Okay, so let's try another one. Here, I'll call this ABC. Okay. And another type of question you would see with a translation is you'll be given the vector. So let's say it's a question would be translate triangle ABC along, and then it would give us the vector. So let's say -5, 3. Okay. So translate triangle ABC along vector -5, +3 to create triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay, so when we're looking at vectors, okay, very much like coordinates, okay, the first number is going to tell us how many units we're moving along the x-axis, left or right. Now, it's because it's -5, we're going to actually go left 5 units. So the x, the first number goes left or right. And of course, y will tell us whether we're going up or down. And so it's positive, so it means we're going to go up. So that means I'm going to go 5 units to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 units up. And that will be my coordinate for A prime. B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So this is B prime. And then C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to 1, 2, 3. So that's C prime. So those are my new coordinates for triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Now, another way you could do this, hypothetically, so let's say you don't have graph paper, okay, then you would be given the coordinates for A, B, and C. So let's see, A is at 0, 3. B is at 4, 6. And C is at 5, 2. Okay. So the other thing you could do is, because we're counting units, what I could do is, you'll notice we move 5 units to the left. So that means I could just subtract 5. So from 0, I'm going to subtract 5. Okay. And then my y value is 3, and we went up 3, so I'm going to add 3. And so that would give me a coordinate of -5, 6. And if I check A prime, sure enough, I'm at -5, +6. Okay, so whether we're counting or you're adding the coordinates, either method works. So 4 minus 5, and then 6 plus 3. That's going to give me a negative 1 comma 9. And if I check B prime, 1, 2, 3, 4, and again, I counted wrong. I should have been at negative 1, but y is also 9. So this is another way you can double check, make sure you plotted the points correctly, because both methods will give you the same answer. Here we have 5 minus 5, and then 2 plus 3, giving me 0, comma 5, and that is where C is, 0, comma 5, okay? So whether you are determining and finding the vector, okay, just remember that, and as a matter of fact, I wrote this backwards, because it's the moving along the x-axis, then the y-axis. So you'll notice my vector should have been, I miscounted the 3 to be negative 2. So this actually should have been negative 2, comma, negative 5, because I moved the 5 units are along the y-axis. So that should have been the second number. And then the negative 2 units are along the x-axis. So those are what we call translations.